Hi everybody, I'm Jen. This is the Donoghs. It's where we put our family vlogs and what we're up to and different videos about our plant-based reduced waste lifestyle. And in this video I'm going to tell you more about how we eat, what our diet is, and why we eat the way we do.
Do you want me to go away?
No. The video's on our diet.
Can I eat pickles?
You can eat pickles, that's fine. So in this video I'm going to share with you, I'm going to make lunch. We'll see, because I've already done this video once and I had to stop because I couldn't concentrate when I was doing two things at once. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit, is that loud? I'm going to tell you a little bit about why it is that we eat plant-based reduced waste and the truth about our diet. A lot of people assume that we are vegans, and we're not. I mean, we don't eat meat. We don't eat beef, chicken, pig. We used to eat fish, and we'd eat fish on the very rare occasion. We'd eat it out at restaurants. If there was nothing else on the menu, we'd eat it out at families' houses, and we would buy it like once a month or so to bring into our home. And I very rarely cooked it in our house. And our reasoning there was, my reasoning at least, was that I see fish more as a plant source, and I know all the vegans are gonna be really mad at me for saying this, but I just can't wrap my head around the idea that a fish is the same as like a baby cow or something like that. And so I just didn't cut it out because ethically, it didn't make sense to me. So then, I should put down the knife. So now, as of like a month ago, Shane and I have stopped eating fish. And we have this, and the reason why we don't call ourselves vegan is because we have this agreement, or where we are at right now with our plant-based reduced waste lifestyle, is that if we were to catch the fish ourselves, we would eat it. So it's more of a environmental concern for us. For our health, or for the rest of the animal products, dairy especially, meat, and then eventually we started cutting out eggs. Every once in a while Shane will eat like a baked product that has eggs in it, but Shane really doesn't know what has eggs in it, and he hasn't been that concerned with navigating that, and he really doesn't eat baked goods that often. We started off with cutting out meat, little bits at a time, and that was back in 2014 or so, and well, really 2013 when I was pregnant. We were reducing our waste, and in order to get meat plastic free, it was basically impossible. So we have to go to this one specific butcher who would put it in my container, and that was once a week because we just couldn't afford anything else because it was a specialty store. And we realized that we didn't really miss the meat that much. At the same time, Shane was starting to grow a garden because we were reducing our waste, and he got really interested in gardening. He found a YouTube channel from Kohler with growing your greens at home, or growing your greens. I forget exactly what it is, but I'll link it below. He's phenomenal. His videos are long, they're well researched, and he's well networked as well. So he knows a lot of people within the alternative growing movement, using different ways to enhance your soil and different ways to grow without even using soil. And anyway, Shane really enjoyed his videos, and on top of the growing your own greens channel, he has one about being a raw vegan. Now, we've never been a raw vegan, but we really did get interested in how to incorporate more raw fruits and vegetables into our diet. So eating more plants, and that's kind of where all of this started, was all the nutrients that are available, the vitamins, minerals, your macronutrients, all the fun stuff like to look at, that we were missing by not really focusing on the most nutritious things available, which were the fruits and vegetables, and especially ones that are grown at home. So that's where we started with reducing our meat, eating more fruits and vegetables, and eventually we just got really sick of eating meat, period. We cut it out at our home, and when Wyatt was born, we stopped eating it out at families' homes and out at restaurants. We started to refuse it. And at first it felt very uncomfortable, but it became easier and easier to do it, especially the more you learn about farming practices, what it's doing to our environment and what it's doing to our health, and just regardless of all the other things, the more you learn that it's totally unnecessary to eat meat, and to especially not eat meat all the time. We started refusing meat at our friends' and family's houses, and then we started cutting out, well, we'd already cut out dairy a long time ago too. That wasn't hard, like drinking dairy. What was hard, so I shouldn't say cutting out dairy, what was hard was to cut out cheese. I had cut out cheese because it doesn't make me feel good when I eat it. Shane, that was the hardest point for him. You start to realize how many of your favorite places you were eating at, how they flavor, all the flavor comes from the cheese. And so we had to create or find new favorite places to eat. We had to come up with different recipes that had flavor apart from the cheese, and different snacks, different ways to give our kids comfort at home, because cheese is a very comforting food. So cheese was definitely the hardest, but we came up with some really good workarounds for that. And then eggs, that was really just like last year that we started to not eat eggs. And Shane will have baked goods, like I said, every once in a while with eggs in it. And that was just part of we don't really need them. Even when I'm making baked goods, it's amazing that you just do not need eggs. There's been like one or two things that having an egg would make life a lot easier, but for the most part, the things that we eat is just totally, like I said, totally unnecessary. I'm just telling you our story. You should do your own research, because I know there's going to be people who are saying, well, it's not unnecessary, you need this protein, or you need this vitamin, you're going to be B12 deficient, you're going to be this and that, and otherwise. Do your research. If you need a book recommendation or a movie recommendation, I'd be happy to give you one. At the same time, when we were doing all of our research, I made sure to look at all sorts of lifestyles. And this is really just something that's worked well for our family. Now, at the same time, the kids are not plant-based, they're not vegan. They are at home, but when we go out, like yesterday we went to Costco and the kids had cheese pizza. Kelly even had a pepperoni pizza. And we talk about this a lot. We've done all the things vegan parents tell you to do with your kids. I've gotten them books, they watch documentaries with us, we watch videos, we've done like the scary look at meat. I mean, it just doesn't faze them. Wyatt doesn't eat meat, he doesn't like it because he was never introduced to it. Kelly grew up for 3 years with us eating bacon and meat around the house, and he loves it. And his personality sometimes can be a little bit contradictory, where if we say something is good or we like something, then he'll try and do the opposite. It's just a growing process, and we're being patient with them, and we're not trying to force anything on them. Again, that's just our personal choice. But like I said, we don't give them meat at home. Another little dietary thing that we deal with is that I have SIBO, which is a bacterial overgrowth, and I was just diagnosed with it, but while I was on the vegan diet or the plant-based diet, but that was something, the symptoms that I was feeling, I've been dealing with since I was like 18, that I can remember. I remember going to a doctor for symptoms that I was having, and the doctor giving me antibiotics or saying, you're fine, go home. And so that's something I've been dealing with for a very long time, and I don't feel like it was in any way directly correlated with us going plant-based. If anything, when we were plant-based and we cut out our grains, I felt really well. But for the last couple of years, I've definitely, and you can Google the symptoms for SIBO, but I have not felt great. And when I manage certain things, like I don't eat onion or garlic, and that makes my stomach feel a lot better. There's other things like watermelon. So the reason why I bring this up, and I don't talk about it a lot because I don't want to talk about it. I don't know the solution for it. I know that it has more to do with than your diet. I know low FODMAP is not the end all thing to this, to SIBO. I know that it's going to be a long process to get rid of it, and I hope it won't be, but it will be. It's been a couple years of me like really trying to pinpoint what's going to help, and things do help for a period of time, and then it starts to feel worse again. And so I think, and this is what I try and say whenever I put out a blog post or anything like that on plant-based reduce waste, is that good health is more than your diet. It's more than what you're eating for food. It's getting adequate sleep, reducing your stress, drinking a lot of water, breathing deeply, getting your exercise in. It's so many more things, and just so many different ways of eating the plants too. I noticed that if I eat warm food, I feel better. I've been looking at just different styles of eating. If I drink warm water, I feel a little bit better. So anyway, just because a plant-based reduced waste lifestyle maybe aggravated your stomach, it's not, or like give you a bad, you got a bad reaction from it, I don't think it's necessarily cause to give it up. That's in my personal opinion. Of course, see a doctor about it. But there's just so many other things to consider, and there's a lot going on beyond just like your favorite guru says everyone should be able to eat this way. It's just not true. I'm trying to think of what else to say. We do cut out the majority of the waste that I can, but we still use plastic. Like this lettuce I have stored in plastic bags because our refrigerator crisper broke a long time ago, and I've tried all the different methods, putting it in tea towel dry, putting it in tea towel wet, putting it in, I just like different ways of trying to preserve my lettuce, and it never works. And lettuce is expensive, and I'm not going to let it like go to waste in the refrigerator. So that's one little thing that I've definitely allowed myself the exception for. I stopped eating chips or buying chips for plastic-free July, and I've continued to do that. Shane, not so much. He bought chips not that long ago. I stopped buying tofu, which we used to never eat. And then when I started looking at more vegan recipes, I started using more tofu. So that's another thing, to not look at vegan necessarily and look at more plant-based whole foods type thing. Not to say that tofu is bad. But it is wrapped in plastic. I did find recipes for how you can make your own tofu from home, and it looked pretty easy. So, and it's also supposed to be more flavorful. Other than that, I really tried hard over the last year to cut all of our snacking out. Well, I should say like snack food snacks, so anything that you can buy in a bag and replace it with fruit. And that whole saying of have a ton of fruit or have fruit in your house and then your kids will reach for fruit first. Like, as much as it's terrible to say this and how annoying it is, it's true. So if you put apples and different fruit, a variety of fruit, and switch it up and let the kids help you with it, I have noticed if they say I'm hungry, I say I'll chop you up an apple, they say okay, rather than asking what else do you have. Wyatt still has that. He has a sweet tooth, and so playing with different ways of providing them with that nourishment, but in a way that is nutritious, has been really something I've been focusing on. Not only that, but nourishment that isn't covered in plastic, because that's why I really want to focus on moms, because we have so much power over reducing the amount of single-use plastics out there, because it really is made for us. It's convenient and it's easy, and someone says this is what you feed to your child, this is how many calories they need, it's going to make them feel better, and it's easier for you, you don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, and it's perfect for us, and I miss it. But there are different ways around doing that, and it's better for your kids anyway. Hopefully the video didn't come off as judgmental or saying like I know better than you, because that is not the impression I want to give to anyone. We've done our research and we've formed our opinions based off of what we've read and what we've seen and what our own experiences have been. And it's been 4 years, and that's probably going to change as we go along too in the years. If we learn more things or experience more things, hopefully that made sense. Okay, I'm going to get back to chopping and focusing so I don't chop my finger off.